All right. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report Supplemental. I feel like, when on Star Trek, when there was a captain's log, and it wasn't important when the date was, because it just went with it went along with the last log. That's what I feel like when I say captain's log or morning report. This is supplemental. This is my ride home. I used to call this, and I still do, my take home or whatever. Because I'm driving home in the car. You can probably hear all the car noise. If not, you will hear in a little bit. I was just thinking, as I was getting in the car, I was reading from an article in the Epic Times that Representative Tom Cotton basically tweeted today that the Democrats were blackmailing, we're planning on blackmailing the country on packing the court if indeed the court didn't rule the way that they want them to rule in a Mississippi abortion case. It is absolutely amazing that, as outrageous as that claim is, the worst part is that it's true. That's really the worst part about it. The worst part about it isn't that it's such an incredible accusation. The worst part about it is that it's true. And I think a lot of Republicans and conservatives really don't understand something. We're not dealing with honest brokers. Years ago, probably 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, or actually maybe longer ago than that, because we were talking about the Obama administration early on, where Glenn Beck mentioned that we're really not dealing in Congress with honest people. We're not. So a lot of, again, and I'm serious, a lot of Republicans and conservatives who are people of a certain age, people my age or older, are under the impression, and some people younger, under the impression that we're just coming to the table and we're just hashing out ideas and everything is, based on that. Because they're under the delusion that we all still want the same thing. That we're all still Americans and we all want the same thing. That is the toughest but most important lesson that we should have learned over the past 4 years and into this year. That's just not true. It isn't true. We don't all want the same things. Especially the Democrat politicians and oligarchy, the elites. Some of the heads of these major corporations, multinational corporations that are in bed financially with the Chi-Coms. So, no, we don't all want the same thing. The days of Mom, apple pie, and Chevrolet are gone. And it's frightening. And I really do. I think people are afraid to believe that because it's terrifying. Because we've all been so isolated, and our opinions are so isolated, and people come after us, our friends and family, our co-workers, all of social media, all of media seems to be against us, except for very few voices. So we have this in the newspapers, so we get this feeling, this gut feeling that we are completely alone, and we see it, but there's not anything we can do about it. Which is really not true. But we have to understand what we're dealing with. and who we're dealing with. Because we want to believe what we believed 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. The fact of the matter is that none of that's true. You know, I did a video and put on the YouTube channel today about systems, and it's entitled about college and the return on investment. And I mentioned that some things, when we talked about college, used to be true, but they're not true anymore. Some things about government and politics that used to be true aren't true anymore. We don't all want the same things. We don't all want a peaceable life where we get to live in the suburbs with our little yard and white picket fence, a couple of kids and a dog. We don't all want that. That is not the American dream anymore. Because the American dream changes on a daily basis depending on what the elites and the oligarchs think we should have. Anything to benefit them. And unfortunately, there are a lot of regular people who have believed the lies these people have told, and they still are of the mind that everybody, is on the up and up, and everybody wants the right things and the good things, and that's not true. It just isn't true. So what do? First thing, recognize that to be the truth. That we don't all want the same thing. Embrace that truth. Yeah, I told you you'd hear some noise, some road noise soon. I told you would. And there it is. Embrace that truth. Don't be afraid of it. Understand it and embrace it. Point it out. And we've got to use what's left of our system at every level to make the changes that need to make. Let us not get distracted by things that don't matter. That's really an important step in this. We must not be distracted or become distracted about things that don't matter, that don't push our cause forward. The cause for freedom and liberty and regaining the republic, that's all that matters. And if there is something that is in the discussion that doesn't push that forward, drop it. You understand what I'm saying? Drop it. I mentioned this the other day. It was bothersome to me that I was reading the Western Journal, which is pretty much on target most of the time, and it had an article on the website about Demi Lovato coming out as non-binary. Well, who gives a rat's ass? Seriously, who cares? How is that? I mean, what is there in that allows me the room, the opportunity to save the republic? That Demi Lovato, some half-talented twit, comes out and says that she is now they, and these are my pronouns. Well, I don't give a rat's ass about your pronouns. I don't. Sorry. I don't care about your damn pronouns. And especially if you say, I am now identifying as they. No, you just said I. So you don't even know what the heck you're talking about. So you know what? So now, Demi Lovato, if I didn't care before, you know damn well I don't care now. I can't possibly care any less. It's just not possible. I've gone from dislike or disinterested to dislike. You know, I just don't care. Those are the things that we have to, you know, and yes, we have to be aware of, at least be aware sometimes of what's going on in the culture, because this is a culture war as much as it is anything else. But there are certain things about the culture and some of these people that you can't do anything about. Stop worrying about LeBron James. LeBron James is a moron. Obviously. He may be your favorite basketball player, but outside of that, LeBron James is a moron. Something else. Stop with the instant heroes. We do that on the right side all the time. One person says something that isn't leftist, and suddenly they're the banner carrier for the conservative movement in America. Charles Barkley is not a conservative. Charles Barkley isn't even a Republican. But take this, even a broken clock's right twice a day. So sometimes Charles Barkley, because he's outspoken, gets it right. But let's not crown his ass with King Conservative. Sometimes Stephen A. Smith, using the very same dynamic as a broken clock, is right twice a day. Let's not crown his ass either. He is as progressive as any of them on ESPN. Let's just be real. Let's stop being fascinated and excited and super engender people who show up late to the scene. You know, a lot of people have a lot to say about Brexit and Candace Owens. I do too. I'm not going to bore you with it here. Suffice to say that Candace Owens, in my narrow, uneducated view, is a flash in the pan. And if it had not been for Donald Trump, would already have faded into obscurity. Because Candace Owens is not a conservative. Candace Owens is barely a Republican. And the methodology of Brexit that basically insults an entire race of people in America every time they open their mouth, not bringing any minorities to the game. Not vote-wise, anyway. There are some influencers on social media, for sure. Some of them I like. Dudes like Christopher Townsend. Topher Music. I like that dude. He's a Brexit guy. But he's a lot more conservative than Candace Owens. He's a heck of a lot more conservative than Candace Owens. A lot. Not even a little bit, but a lot. So it is. So we have to do that too. Stop crowning people as super conservatives if they don't, even when they just say something that isn't purely leftist. They're not king conservative. Ignore the things that don't bring that don't bring anything of value to the movement. Really start ignoring that. Get involved personally. Get involved personally. Personally. Get involved. Work on a campaign. Work on a campaign where you can walk up to the candidate and shake their hand or give them a hug. So what I mean by that, obviously, is work on some local stuff. We get so enamored with national campaigns. The sexiness of a senatorial or a presidential campaign is just hard to resist. Story time. Both times I ran for county commission here where I live, both opportunities, unfortunately, were in presidential election years. So the battle was, when do I start the campaign? Because in a way, you had to start the campaign way earlier than you should have, because you wanted to get as much attention and money and whatever you needed before the presidential election nonsense started. Because once that started, you couldn't get money, you couldn't get volunteers, because everybody, including the local party that should have been gathering and helping you get volunteers and donors and all sorts of stuff, they were also wrapped up in the presidential campaign. And that happened a couple of times here where I live, and I'll tell you what happened. Our city council in Tampa is all Democrat. I think there are five people on the council, I think, and they're all Democrats. And the mayor is Democrat. County commission, we lost 2 seats, and now it's majority Democrat. So they weren't concentrating just on the presidential election. They were concentrating on getting people elected locally. That's what was going on. And we missed out. And it's a doggone shame. It is a doggone shame. So we have to really, I think, start understanding that dynamic a whole lot better about what we should be doing. Because we don't. Which is why I'm making this, this supplemental addition to the morning report. Because I had it on my mind and in my heart, and I had to get it out to you. All right. Listen, if you've got any questions, comments, criticisms, send me an email at fightbackmedia@gmail.com. 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 Can't wait to hear from you. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.